onwards, yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about here.
What I'm cautioning against is an over. It's very hard to take poetry and prophecy and say, here are 7 criteria that have come down, and this is like an objective, concrete list. The whole of Isaiah in a context, and beware of over-literalization.
Okay, so that's a good point.
And drawing out criteria.
That's a good point. So I would say that if we look at the whole of Isaiah, so we've got the whole of 42, Isaiah 42, but you've also got passages like chapter 20, Isaiah 29:12, and what you'll find in that passage is that it says that it will be said to him, read, and he will say, I, the prophet, I am not of the learned. I am not of the learned. Now, our account of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is that basically the book was delivered to him in the cave, and it was said to him, read by the angel Gabriel. And he says, Ma ana biqari'in, I'm not someone of the readers, I can't read. So he was told the second time, read. And he said, Ma ana biqari'in, I'm not of the readers. The point being here is that he was, the Prophet Muhammad, we would say, generally speaking,
is not of the learned people.
He fulfills the criteria set in Isaiah chapter 29.
I am 100% listening.
Can I add to that point of ikrah beras Quran? That ikrah was not only for the Quran, but was for learning everything in life with the Quran.
Say no.
Everything that was taught in the era of technology, which has perfected the deen of Islam.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so can you see what I'm saying?
Look, like I said, we're saying what Isaiah is talking about, he's prophesizing the forthcoming of the Messianic era, when the Messiah is going to come. I think. Do you have a Messiah in Islam? Okay, so
his name is Jesus.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Jesus.
And he's coming back again.
Yeah, we believe in Jesus coming back again.
Okay, fine. So obviously a big difference between Judaism and Christianity is we don't think the Messiah is coming.
Yeah, we believe the Messiah is Jesus.
But he hasn't fulfilled his Messianic role. That's what you're saying. And he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Okay, so we don't believe it's him, but what we're saying is that Isaiah is giving poetic descriptions of the Messianic age. And what I'm trying to explain to you is what you're doing is saying, here's the poetic descriptions of the Messianic age. Let's take this specific one verse which talks about how the area will be so excited at the Messianic era, which we're talking in prophecy and poetry, and you're saying, okay, so let's be overly specific. When he says this, he's not describing a vision of how it's going to look, he's describing this exact place, and we're going to associate with this exact people, and now we're going to bring a list of 1, 2, 3. Or when he talks about the nature of the Messiah as a broader context of the nature of Messiah, you're saying, this is the particular verse, this is a criteria, this is what the Messiah is going to have to look like. And I'm saying that's not how our tradition or my tradition deals with the prophecy. They look at it as we're describing a picture, a scene, and we can get deep messages from it. But we've got to be very careful of saying this is extremely literal. This verse is extremely literal. This brings 10 criteria, and then whoever would fulfill these criteria, and that would make them. So it would work for you, but it's not going to. I'm going to explain to you. It's not going to convince me, simply because that's not how I engage with the text on a fundamental level.
Okay.
And that's not how my tradition engages.
So how would you engage with the text on a fundamental level?
What I'm trying to say is, I'll put it to you like this in an analogy.
Yes, please do actually.
I think if we're using an analogy, right? Yeah. So if I want to explain a majestic, beautiful time of world peace and all amazing things, I'm going to explain how this is a great day, but like how amazing the physical nature's going to look, how the people are going to be happy, how everyone's going to be so excited. I'm going to talk about areas that were near me that I know that I'm going to hear the cries from, I don't know, Acton, and the cries from wherever it is, Millwall, and it's going to be this poet, and I'm putting forward exactly how you would if you were writing it, a vision. Now, I made up that vision, but we believe that Isaiah had, in some sense, a vision for God, and he was painting it out so people will understand the vision. What I don't think he's trying to do, and again, back to the analogy, is I don't think God gave him and I don't think that this is how you read it either, or how I read it. I don't think God handed him a list of 14 or 15 exact things that are going to happen. Those things can be made into criteria, and then we can say, oh, so-and-so fulfills that criteria.
Now you've made me interested, because you believe in a Messiah coming in the future, yeah?
Yeah, we believe in the Messianic.
How would you know it's
That's a very good question. It's debates. What proves the Messiah? There's actually a poem about it.
Was it a vision, or was it given to him by God?
No, because the thing is, because you've just said that Look, I've got a simple question for you. Does
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Torah,
Yeah,
does the Old Testament generally,
yeah.
does it give us a criteria?
Doesn't talk.
Let me just.
Sorry. Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Go on.
Does it give you a criteria for
Yeah.
identifying a Messiah? in the
No,
future? So how would we know it's him?
it's a very good question. But I think what I'm trying to explain to you is not that that's not a problem. I'm trying to explain to you it's not a problem.
Why?
Because the Torah.
How would we distinguish between a true Messiah and a false Messiah?
Oh, there are lists. The Talmud brings out criteria of things that the Messiah is not going to do.
Like what?
So the Messiah is not going to come and uproot teachings of Moses, or he's not going to. All these things there are.
Like what?
Well, there are different positions. You heard of Maimonides?
Yeah, right.
Where he was.
He said good things about Muslims as well.
Yeah, he lived with them. He lived in Cairo. What was I saying? So he has certain criteria. He thinks that the world's going to look exactly the same, but there'll be sovereignty among the Jewish people.
Where does he get that from?
Talmud.
Okay, not from the Torah.
No, not from the written text of the 5 books of Moses.
And can you just explain to the people what's the difference between Talmud and Torah?
Okay, that's a good question.
Because a lot of people wouldn't even understand what the Talmud is.
Okay, so the Talmud, on the most basic level, is a rabbinic, is the work of the rabbis from about the period, recorded from about the period of, I would say, well, it was written down in 600 AD, whatever that is when you don't say it in that way. But it records conversations going back 1,000 years, about 1,000 years before that.
My question is, the rulings that, because tell me if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
The Talmud is a record of all of the rulings that basically the Jewish scholars made. That
based on traditions that they had from the revelation at Sinai, based on the Torah, based on lots and lots of different things.
So here,
Just take 1 minute. How many guys talk on about where do you come from? Are you Jewish?
Me, yeah.
Do you come to Hebrew? You speak in Hebrew? Magam shiri bakan Hebrew ko do kaster in Abraham ko sinirin tu.
Okay. Well, we're at the Talmud.
Yeah, so anyway, that was
Crazy.
spiced things up.
Yeah.
No problem. Made us wake up a little bit.
Talmud back. So this Talmud.
When I spoke to him, he answered.
What?
He
Talmud, you want to
That's
tell
the
me
war?
Okay.
Yeah.
what the
So-
Talmud is not the message.
Yeah. That's why we're at.
Yeah, so in a nutshell,
Torah is a message.
Yeah, we got the Talmud, but I just wanted to ask you.
yeah, go on.
Now the Talmud,
Yeah.
the rulings are extrapolated.
It's not just the rulings.
Okay.
It's the oral Torah. It's the oral Torah.
But the rulings are
There's stories and there's lessons.
Fine. But they're extrapolated either from the Torah.
Yeah, or from tradition, inherited traditions. Like you have the hadith, right?
Yeah. But is that revealed from God as well?
Well, yeah, that's the idea is certain things are revealed from God, certain things are what Jews just happen to start doing, and that becomes important.
Okay,
to
so what's the
preserve integrity
criteria?
of
What's the criteria in the Talmud for the Messiah?
For the Messiah, again, various criteria.
Like what?
The point is that everything is a debate.
Can we give
right?
three? Just three.
Okay, so certain commentators on the Talmud talk about how the fact that it's going to become this crazy era where the misquoted phrase that the lion's going to lie down with the lamb, that's not actually what it says, but all these things, nature's going to change, it's going to be world peace, all these kind of things. Another criteria is that, which is different, is that the world's going to be the same, but Jews are going to be able to have sovereignty over themselves, they're going to be able to control their own destiny.
So we've got two, yeah?
Yeah, there's two different.
Have we got a third one?
Have we got a third
Souls
one?
will reincarnate from the dead.
There is an idea of
That's one you can't miss. If it was happening, you would.
Souls, where was that mentioned in the Torah?
Gosh, that's cool.
Where was that mentioned in the Torah?
It's not mentioned in the Torah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about
the Talmud tries to bring hints from the Torah, but that's not directly.
Would you agree with me if
Go on.
I said to you, look, the forthcoming of the Messiah is an integral, important part of the Jewish tradition?
I think yes. I mean, it's a fundamental belief that we have, but not on a day-to-day basis.
You know, but it's
We would
important.
believe it that it's going to happen and hope for on a day-to-day basis.
And it is, generally, it's a prophecy, yeah?
It's based on prophecies. We
Yeah.
try and incorporate prophecies.
And there are criteria set for that prophecy, yeah?
No, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
You just said there are three criteria.
No. What happens is, Isaiah says certain things, different prophets say certain things.
No, I'm not talking about Isaiah. I'm talking about the Messiahs.
I'm explaining, So they're bringing certain prophecies of the Messianic era. Oh, he's off again. they try and bring certain prophecies of Messianic era, and the rabbis try and take these poetic, prophetic visions and turn them into criteria. Different people have different criteria. They try and work it out from prophecy. You're right.
Yeah, sorry, man. The guy's gone mad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. I understand what you're trying to say.
No,
but I don't think you can go there.
If we have criteria.
Yeah, but we don't. That's what I'm saying. No, but there are debates within what the criteria.
I know
are so ambiguous.
There are debates.
Yeah,
the criteria exists. Yeah.
No, there's debates about what they are.
No, but there are debates about what they are.
You mean what you're saying is one day when the Messiah comes, we'll be able to tell who the Messiah is?
Just let's rewind there. You said that there are criteria.
Yeah.
You mentioned 2 or 3, yeah?
No, I mentioned that based on the fact that you've got prophetic visions in the later prophets.
Yeah, but
when the rabbis
these are things to look out for in the Messiah.
Yes, but they're prophetic. When the rabbis try and work out what that means.
They're points, yeah?
When the rabbis try and say, okay, you've got this an analogy again, you've got poetry. How can we take the points from the poetry? They disagree even on how to take the point. It's ambiguous.
Let's say someone comes out and says, I'm the Messiah of the Jews, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what are scholars like yourself going to do when you become a scholar?
When I become a scholar?
Yeah, what are people like yourself, how are they going to work out if it's a Messiah?
I would refer that question upwards.
Okay.
I'm not qualified to do it.
No, but you said that it's going to be based on some kind of criteria, yeah?
Yeah, but what is the signs of the redemption?
No, we don't need to know these things. We don't need to know if he's Mashiach or if he completes the mission.
Yeah, but the point is I'm saying it's ambiguous what the redemption is and what the redemption actually going to be.
Ask him what the age will be.
No, because this is the thing. Okay, basically.
Yeah. It's hard to... I'm not in a position...
Can I just tell you what I'm trying to get at here?
Yeah, I understand.
What I'm trying to get at is that you clearly have prophecies attached to your religion, which reference a person, a figure of the religion of Judaism, like the Messiah. Everyone agrees he's an integral part of the religion. Yeah? Okay. If it was left vague from God, that it would be impossible for him to be identified in the future, then it would render the religion itself unfollowable.
I didn't say...
So, in the same way, I'm saying... In the same way, I think there is criteria, as you kind of conceded to before, of the Messiah. And in the same way, there are criteria that are set down in Isaiah for a future prophet that's going to come in the future.
You're trying to argue, let me just get this right, that...
Just as there's criteria for the Messiah, which you know must exist, because if there's no criteria, then anyone can say I'm the Messiah, and it would be impossible for any scholar to distinguish, to identify whether he's the Messiah or not. Just in the same way as the Messiah's got criteria, and the Messiah is an integral part of the Jewish faith, also the prophet mentioned in Isaiah chapter 42 and Isaiah chapter 29 verse 12, and also in other parts of the Torah, like Deuteronomy 18:18 and others, that prophet that's being referenced over and over again throughout the old tradition is someone who had criteria, and I believe that there were criteria that were met by the coming of the Prophet Muhammad. Now, for you to say it's not the case...
Right, but you don't think... One second,
what you have to
you've got to clarify something for me.
Go ahead, yeah.
Because you said Muhammad is not the Messiah.
No.
Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah,
but you're saying that the Messianic prophecies of Judaism reference not the Messiah.
No.
Jesus is the Messiah.
Okay, you've got two kinds of prophecies in the Old Testament. You've got prophecies that reference the Messiah, who came already, we believe is Jesus.
But we don't believe he came already.
I know, but that's up to you. We believe that's part of the problem. Okay, so you have prophecies that you intentionally make vague, as you've admitted.
No, the Torah, they are vague.
No, they're not vague. Some of them are very specific about.
That's what I'm trying to argue with you about. What you and I are discussing.
If they were vague, then the religion of Judaism would be unfollowable.
No, but that's an argument you're making, but I disagree with the argument.
Okay, how would you refute it?
Okay, one thing at a time, because we're talking about 3 different things. But what you're saying is that, just want to say it one more time.
So the Messiah, we believe is Jesus.
The Messiah is important for the religion. Because the texts are vague and there's dispute about them, it's hard for us to identify the Messiah, and therefore...
So how do you know it's not Jesus?
And therefore, because it's an integral part of the religion would... no one ever said he's not.
How do you know Jesus?
No, but no one said...
How do you know it's not Jesus?
Because he died.
He didn't die, we don't believe he died.
He's not here. The Jewish understanding of the Messianic age is, as he says, vague.
So do you say that the Messiah doesn't die? So I'm just asking a question because you said that.
My understanding is that the Jewish understanding of the Messianic age is clear in certain respects. There are certain things that we know will happen. So there'll be a peace on earth. The dead souls will be reincarnated into...
We believe that happened with Jesus.
He didn't bring peace on earth. So let me explain to you in this way. let me finish.
I have 3 minutes. I have 3 minutes.
Let me finish you this. Stick to the topic.
Wait, brother.
Are you Ahmadi? Are you Ahmadi? Do you believe in Ghulam Ahmad as prophet? So who's the final prophet? The founder of all prophets. Who's the final prophet?
Brother.
Muhammad, yeah? Of course. Okay, good. I don't know.
I've got
we don't have a disagreement.
I've got 3 minutes, so I've got 3 minutes, so I need to finish my
You
point.
believe that Jesus, the Messiah, is not going to die?
What's your evidence that Jesus is not Messiah?
I don't have evidence of lost God. I'm just trying to explain to you what the Jewish understanding is. So let me explain to you this way. So throughout history, there were lots of false messiahs. So lots of people who claim to be the Messiah, they attract a big following in Judaism in Eastern Europe in the 16th, 17th, 18th centuries. The reason why they stopped being believed in as Messiah is because they didn't bring about a perfect world and then they died.
Okay, listen, what I'm saying is that the religion of Judaism,
Yeah, so this is what I was saying to
it
you.
can't be an unfollowable religion.
Because
right?
you're saying
things
that
have to be clearly
you're saying that if you
identified.
can't identify by a clear set of rules who the Messiah is,
Yes.
then Judaism would fall apart.
Yes.
Now I'm
Not
saying
fall apart. I would just say that
it
people
would
wouldn't
just be
able to-
bizarre. It would be bizarre.
No, but anyone can claim to be the Messiah, and
Right.
no one would have any criteria for seeing who he is. But what I'm saying is, and this is the Christian argument as well, so I'm
Yeah.
killing two birds with one stone. We're saying that you know full well what
I'm disagreeing with that
I
argument.
understand, but your intention.
disagree with it?
Yeah, you can, of course, but can I just make my point?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying the prophecies that reference the Messiah Jesus
Yeah.
are clear. He came, you disagreed with him, you denied him. We're saying that you have no reason to disagree with the fact that it was Jesus.
But I'm okay.
Have you got any reason today?
What I'm trying to explain to you, is that I'm trying to explain is this, right? I said they're vague. I said they're ambiguous. I said that there's a lot of Talmudic literature which discusses it, and I said there's a lot of later rabbinic literature which discusses the nature of Messiah as well. Now, this is a very confusing picture, and it's not nice to look at. But when you have a leading scholar of the generation, which I cannot explain to you how far away I am, but in history, we have leading scholars of the generation, like a guy in the Talmudic times called Rabbi Akiva, who believe that they can make the judgment based on how they have a right to look at all that text, and because of the amount that they know and their expertise, they can decide which ways they're going to go in the ambiguities. The system does allow for support of a Messiah. But what it doesn't allow for is for me to turn around and say to you, with all the ambiguities there, I'm going to accept that there's a 10-point list that you have to fulfill. It's an expert decision.
So what you're saying to me is that it's very ambiguous, and we're not sure that the Messiah couldn't be Jesus, and that prophet that's mentioned.
No, he didn't talk about Jesus yet.
Okay,
I'm just making
fine.
the first point.
What I'm saying to you is this. This is exactly the problem. That's why the Quran was very particular in the beginning. That's why I mentioned that verse. It says, وَلَا يَتَخَذْ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. So that we don't take, I don't take, or you don't take the scholars, the high clergy, as people that change the law from other than God. What we're saying is, what needs to happen in order for Jews to come to enlightenment is that they need to refer back to the Torah. Even the ones that you've got in your hand today. I'm telling you to go back to the book of No, there isn't. There's different versions of the Torah. Anyway.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But let me put it to you like this, yeah?
Some of it is Go back to Isaiah 42.
I'm with you. But put it like
look
this.
at the words of God. I'm telling you,
But
if these are in fact the words of God.
One second. Let me just say,
Go on.
if you God forbid,
Don't worry, man, I'm not gonna-
or someone you know had, God forbid, needed surgery, anyone can go off to the library or the internet and get all the books off the shelf. But who are you actually going to trust to do the surgery?
I understand.
An expert surgeon. I'm
with you on scholarly.
So
I'm saying that there's certain parts of the religion which need to
they're
be
not
clear for
changed.
everyone.
2 minutes. But I'm saying, it's what you need, despite the fact that you don't want the leaders to change the word of God, leaders can still, within the word of God, direct the people in interpreting the word of God.
I'm totally
We
with
have
you.
the same thing.
Yeah, we have the same thing.
So we trust the
but
leaders
we're saying that
to
there's a
make
limit of that.
decisions.
There's a limit. So the scholar can't transgress the bounds. So for example,
But he's
Talmud.
not. He's interpreting.
The Talmud is an entirely separate system of laws.
Says you.
No, but hold on. I haven't finished the sentence.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Then.
You're right.
So a lot of which you admitted in your own words was based on the Torah.
Yeah.
But a lot of which is not. Okay. Now we're saying that part of it which is not. To what extent does the Torah allow for that part to exist?
It says in Deuteronomy.
What does it say?
That you have to follow the rabbis. It says expressly.
Yeah, you follow the rabbis, but to
Not
what
to throw
extent?
him in as Yamin or small. I got that wrong.
It's,
But you can't
You've got
divert
to-
right or left.
Yes, I do. But it's got to be within the confines of the tradition of the Torah itself.
That God in the Torah gave the rabbis the power to
You have
interpret
to
the
be
Torah.
aligned with the Torah
How did you become a rabbi then?
teachings.
No. There's different
that's how we
types.
started.
You're right. There's different types of rabbis.
Asam, we're going to pray Asam. You want to come with us and pray?
I know.
You have to say
Yeah,
Shahada.
it's so funny. You know our prayer times. Of your prayer times, I think two of them match up with ours. So where I live, when I hear the mosque, I know I have to go and pray.
How many times do you guys pray? Like
3 times a day.
Really? But how do you guys pray? Is it like?
Show us the movements of prayer. That would be interesting. Go on.
We stand.
You stand. You don't go down, innit?
Huh?
You don't
We
go
don't
down.
go down.
No, I heard once.
Only once. Only once a year.
That's it. Why? What's that for?
In a specific prayer of thanks on the highest of the holy days.
You go to prostrate though.
But we don't touch our heads right to the ground, but we do prostrate. In the high.
Look, my final advice to you is just watch. Look at this verse again.
Nick, can I get the link for this?